Is Tom Brady on some level hurting his reputation or legacy a little bit? You know, he skips 11 days during training camp,
Yeah.
and now he skips the walkthrough Saturday. He's at Kraft's wedding Friday night. You know, because I was up in New England parts of '05 and '06, Albert, people ask me about him all the time. And my whole thing is like he's a total psycho. He's all in, like he's all in. He's not all in, Albert. Like this
I
is the
know.
first year I can ever remember
Weird.
where he's not all in, and he's kind of hurting. He's hurting my argument that he's successful because he's all in, because he's not all in this year.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to turn this around on you then, Ross. Like, you know, he was the guy who, like, I remember Rodney Harrison always telling that story. Like, Rodney would walk into the locker room or into the weight room at 5:30 in the morning, and Brady would be in there and say good afternoon to him. You know what I mean? Like, those are always the stories you heard about Brady when he was younger. And I think Brady always had this sort of this equity, you know, in whatever team he was on, with the amount of work he was putting in, where he could get after whoever he wanted to get after, because they knew this guy's putting in more than me.
Right.
You know?
Well, and really, Albert, what I always tell people is I think the biggest reason for his success is the other guys don't want to let him down.
Right.
Because you know how important it is to him and how much time he puts in. You don't want to be the one that screws it up for him.
So let me ask you this. If you're one of those linemen sitting on that bench yesterday, is it in the back of your head, this guy wasn't at the walkthrough yesterday?
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, you're not thinking about that in the moment.
And it's not like this. And it's not, and Ross, it's not like, that's the thing about it, is like, it's not this guy wasn't at the walkthrough because there's some important family matter. This guy was at a party in New York City on Friday night, and he couldn't be bothered to get back here for that.
It was actually a surprise wedding. It was not a party. It was a surprise wedding.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying, but like,
were you there? Were you invited?
You know, huh?
Were you invited? Were you there?
I got my invite got lost in the mail. I don't know what happened. But that's the thing is, like, I don't you feel like even if 5 years ago, Tom Brady decided I have to go to this thing on Friday night with Robert Kraft, right? Don't you think he would have made the arrangement to get to the walkthrough?
Of course.
Like on Saturday morning. And I don't know what time that walkthrough, but it's not at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you get there by 8 a.m. He could have flown back that night. He flies private.
Yeah. He could have gotten.
He made a conscious decision to not go back. He easily could have gone back. I don't know. Maybe his family's in New York and he wanted to spend an extra day with them. I don't know what his deal is.
I mean, but that's the thing. That's the thing to me is like, it's just now it's getting to the point where, and look, a big part of this, like part of the reason why he's on the East Coast, and I don't know how many people know this, but part of the reason he's on the East Coast and went to the Bucks, not the Chargers, 2 years ago, was because his son Jack lives in New York and he wanted to be able to go back and forth. And sometimes on off days, he'll go see his son Jack in New York, which is incredibly important. And it's great that he's doing that. To me, like, that's in a different category than going to like a party on a Friday night. You know what I mean? Like, and going to a social event on a Friday night and not making it back for the Saturday walkthrough. So I do wonder about some of those things. And you don't want to delve into, you know, somebody's personal life and everything else. But I just know this, like, this is a guy who, like, generally wouldn't miss anything. And now we've started to see like this string of things that have happened. And then the way he's talking is different too. Like, if you listen to, like, he would never really talk about the end in finite terms, you know, like now he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like now he's actually talking about the end. And so it's just, it's like that old saying where, what is it, Ross? Like, if a player's talking about retirement, he sort of already is retired.
Well, that's what Parcells always said.